And we welcome you into Pioneer Basketball with Pioneer coach JT Burton. It is the Pioneer Basketball Show as the Tusculum Pioneers embark on the second half of the South Atlantic Conference schedule. Hello, everyone. I am Brian Staten with Pioneer coach JT Burton. A Pioneer first half of the season. Let's kind of start there where I think you wanted to learn about your team and what they had and what they brought. And I think in the midst of that, you found a way to win 5 consecutive games, number one, and get some momentum and build some of that momentum. But by doing so, you still know it's going to be baby steps, and it's a process coming in here in your first season. But you're getting great help from a guy that I think you needed, and that's Donovan Donaldson. He's earned a Conference Player of the Week. We haven't had that in 9 seasons here at Tusculum, and that's a guy that I think that you need to be able to lead this program, and in this 5-game winning streak, you're getting that type of leadership out of him.
Yes, Don has been really, steady up to this point. I mean, he's done a really good job of, taking good shots and making good shots. I mean, he's also rebounded the ball. So he's been impacting the game in several different ways, and that's why he's been able to go on this run.
And one of the things that the Pioneers have done well in this first half of the season is get to the glass, offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. And obviously, they can win you a lot of basketball games. And you're doing that, and you're being very physical and winning that battle. Top 10 in the nation in offensive rebounds. You're number 1 in the league at 15.3 offensive rebounds per contest. And in the 5-game winning streak, you need some second chance points, and you're converting.
Yes, we're going to have to, man. It's been a big emphasis, especially in the preseason, is rebound. And the guys have done a really good job, especially from the guard spot where Don plays and the defense. And the guys have done a really good job with a collective group of rebounding the basketball.
On the flip side of that, you also have to play the defensive style that he wants to play, and it may take a little while to adjust, and I believe, that they have been able to do that here of late. So the Pioneers wrap up the first half of the conference slate on the road to Harrogate, Tennessee, which has been basically a run killer for anybody in the league. The number 1 team, defending conference champion, and once again, another stacked lineup for Coach Josh Schertz, who's won over 240 games in the league in his short time here. So a team that's kind of been there and done that, although they're minus Emmanuel Terry, the player of the year in the nation last year, minus Dorian Pinson, who still in my estimation was the best player in the league, a guy, the glue guy, and some very good shooters that the Rail Splitters have. But back comes Cornelius Taylor. Oh, he's not going to play because he's going to be injured, so we're not really sure what we're going to get against LMU. But you know you're going to get a challenge. And so we go down there, and there's some guys that stepped up. Cameron Henry, Rondi Hackett, and Cameron Calhoun has been very impressive to me for LMU. They got off to such a great start, got a big hole dug, and they also had the reigning Conference Player of the Week coming in. And you give LMU a challenge, and they were a very formidable opponent this past week.
They were. They was ready for us. They did a really good job. Coach Schertz and his staff did a really good job of scouting us and taking us out of some things. But that's what happens when you play the back half of your league and you're finishing up the first half, meaning that everybody's seen you play pretty much. So we had to make some adjustments. They made shots, especially early. I mean, they was making shots from all over the court, but we stayed the course, and unfortunately, we weren't able to come away with the win, but the guys still played hard and done what they were supposed to do.
All right, 8 first-half three-pointers for LMU, and again, Henry was a big part of that, coming off the bench and converting as well was Julius Brown. Anthony Brown was distributing, and they were riding high, 44-27. That was the score at the half. You were shooting below 35% in that first half. Then a light switch happened, and I think it was you got a little success to start the second half, and you felt like we can play with this team. And for a while there was that run, the 11-1 run, and I kept saying to myself, had this lead been 13, we got a 1-point lead right now. At one point, I kept saying those things, trying to be positive. But what was different? Why were you guys different? Why were you guys able to get back into that game?
I think we got kind of loose. When we walked in, it was kind of shell shock to me. I mean, I don't think it was mentally there. It was feeling ourselves every 5-game winning streak. You thinking, okay, LMU, they lost Emmanuel Terry, all the guys you just mentioned, but these guys, we failed to realize how these guys reload, and it was obvious. But the second half, we came out, we started pressing, turned them over a little bit, and we was able to cut in that lead.
Still a team that was getting to the offensive glass. 21 offensive rebounds in the game. Now, LMU didn't miss many shots. Let's start there. But when they did miss, they weren't getting the rebounds. Only 6 offensive rebounds for LMU, which has been a staple for them here over the last years. But we're going to see a disturbing trend begin. Of the 21 offensive rebounds, 18 second chance points. And I think that number has to be a little bit higher.
It has to be. I mean, but the guys, they're giving us all the effort they have, but we just got to convert on that. That's been this game right here, especially late in the second half, we would get the offensive rebound, but we'd either turn it over or just not score, miss the shot. And that's one thing that I have to do better as a head coach, is getting these guys, getting some pad work, as I like to call it. When they rebound the ball, go back up strong with 2 hands and finish. And that right there was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say, because we offensive rebound, but we would turn it over or miss the shot, and they would come down and convert.
All right, they didn't shoot well in the first half. In the second half, I'm thinking we're going to shoot really well, and we're to that point for the first 10 minutes. But then the second 10 minutes, just kind of maybe forced some shots, just trying to get back into it. Only ended up shooting 32% for the second half. LMU held us to 32% for the game shooting, and then obviously they hit for the very high clip in the contest. They get the win, 86-72. It continues a streak for the Rail Splitters, but there was some glimmer of hope in there. However, we didn't get that game from Donaldson. I mean, he was held in check, and Dylan Smith has been shooting it from outside very well, and they did a very good job. You opened up by saying they scouted us well, and they did a very good job at it.
They did. They do a really, really good job defensively, especially contested shots. I mean, again, hats off to those guys and their staff, because he's got those young guys and those mixture of those oldest guys playing extremely hard. And it's a tough thing to do, to get some young guys that understand how defense win ball games, especially with today's basketball. But he's done a really good job against Don. They shadowed him. I mean, every time we took a shot, it was contested. We just, we offensive rebounded those shots, over half of them, but we just didn't convert off of them.
Pioneers fall to the Rail Splitters. Stay in the top 6, though, in the South Atlantic Conference, which was very key, as they've got the Catawba Indians coming in. At one point this season, Catawba was in the top 25 in the country. They had won 13 of their first 15 games and were riding high. But they come into Pioneer Arena, now losers of 3 consecutive games. The Pioneers coming off their 5-game winning streak, and at LMU losing for the first time, obviously, in those 6 games. So something had to give a little bit at Pioneer Arena, and we felt like it would be us, because when we go down there in December, without Donaldson, without Austin Hall, without a couple of the pieces, and without the belief that I think the team had, and still had an opportunity to win the game at the end. But then again, through that amount of time, Catawba's also improved as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, they hadn't seen us, our style of play, so it took some getting used to. And he was, coach was done a really good job to adjust, especially when he came here. But as I told you, when we played at Catawba, I thought they was the best team in this league because of the way they play. Their size, their length, they can play inside out. The guards are really big. And when they came here, they showed it. They was on the 3-game slide. You got some veterans, and they knew they had to adjust. And they did a really good job of, again, adjusting to some of our key players, Donald Donaldson and Dylan Smith, those guys like that kind of struggled.
Let's take a look at the highlights. Tusculum versus Catawba happened at Pioneer Arena here this past week. And for Catawba, you felt like you were going to be well, but against this zone, Jamil Taylor, who I think is their glue guy. He's not the guy that's going to wow you, although he is their leading scorer, comes out very big and hits the big shot, gets them going. Trent Gibson offensive rebounding. But again, you're trying to get Donaldson going, and it's just he just doesn't seem to right there on the jumper the first time. Everything looks good, but it just doesn't go.
Yeah, you've seen, the last couple of clips, the first time he shot a jump shot, missed it, contested. Then every time he puts the ball on the floor, he's got people around him every single time. So we did a really good job. You see Trent Gibson, the freshman, getting some offensive boards and putback. But as you've seen, those guys was relentless at getting to the basket and finishing.
It was a guard-heavy game for Catawba, and then Malik Constantine had a big game as well. We'll talk more about that. But Trent Gibson just does not seem to be phased. When he's got a matchup that he likes, he seems to be taking advantage of that right now. And for a youngster, that's impressive.
Yes, Trent puts in the work. He does a really good job. He's a coach's dream. He's a coach on the floor, and he's not as athletic as you might want him to be, but he knows how to use his unathleticism as his strength, because he can get to the rim, he's strong, he finishes, and he rebounds the ball really well.
Best shooters in the league, Marcel Haskett right there. He made one and then missed one as we start the second half. Didn't take a whole lot of shots in the contest, and it led to a rare transition opportunity for us.
Yes, you've seen Don Donaldson getting to the rim. You see Trent Gibson getting to the rim in transition. And then right here, Don's pulling up for the 3. Even though he made it, you notice he had somebody in his face at all times.
He didn't go away. It's not like he had a bad game in Donaldson and he was able to score. Catawba's going to allow you to score. They give up some points. Tariq Jenkins doing what he does. I like how he is able to finish. Sometimes it's a very difficult finish that goes in. You want to see him take a better shot, but it works.
Yes, he's a great finisher at the rim. I mean, he can't turn the ball over as much, but he does a really good job of finishing, getting to the rim.
Malik Constantine, a big man, shooting 35% from three-point territory with the big three there. So, again, you see the score yourself. Catawba is building the very big lead. And it just and I hate to say it, it just felt like at no point in the game, I felt like they came in locked in. And I felt like at no point in the game did I feel, well, here we go. It didn't seem to have that particular day. I think for you, that's the most frustrating part because we're at home. We're trying to defend our home turf. We just didn't get out of the gate against arguably one of the best teams in the league.
We come out flat again, mentally flat, and that's what I told the guys. Against a good team like that, a veteran team like that, you can't come out flat because they're ready to go. I knew that they was going to be fired up, and as I told you before, they're a matchup nightmare for us as well because those guys go 6'5", 6'6" across the board, and then you got Haskins, who's probably 5'11", but he plays like he's 6'7", and that creates problems for us all the way around the board. So, I mean, we weren't able to get going, but hey, I mean, we kept fighting, just didn't win.
Disturbing trend that continues. The two top offensive rebounding teams in the league, Tusculum at 15.3, Catawba at 15 offensive rebounds a game. Hold them to 9. Meanwhile, you get 22, and you're less than 20 points in second chance once again for the second consecutive game. You know, you get 22 offensive rebounds. Let's think. If you get points off that, that's 2 for every 1 or 3 for every 1. And so a lot of that should be maybe 30, 35, 40 points a game in second chance opportunities. We're talking less than 20 points in second chance opportunities for the second consecutive game.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been, I mean, it's a good thing for us because you know that they're playing hard. But it's also, on the flip side, it's not very good because we're not scoring. I mean, kids are playing hard. I mean, you get 21 offensive rebounds. I mean, you think you're going to be in the game. But with that, I mean, you've seen the score of the game, and we just haven't been converting off those offensive rebounds. But as long as we keep playing hard and keep rebounding the ball, something has to go our way.
For the second consecutive game, also, the Pioneer, you just got to make buckets. We got to find Jimmy McBuckets. You know, we got to find that guy. And we didn't have that particular guy for Catawba. Even though Donaldson did get into double figures with 11 points, he was out of the game. They did a good job in taking him out of the game. We can penetrate, we can drive as much as we want to. But I've said it before you got here in your press conference. I remember I was like, well, we're going to have 3-pointers. We're going to have 3 shooters. And when only 2 fall on the 20 so that you have attempted in the game, again, it poses some problems. You've got to hit almost 8 in this league, just stay in the game.
As I told you before, the one thing about this league that's kind of been an eye-opener for me is how guys can take and make shots. It is unbelievable at this level how well of shooters there are. And you can't go, I don't care who you're playing in what league, go 2 for 21 from the three-point line. You're not going to win many games, especially league games in the SAC. So, I mean, we got to get better. We got to get, you know, it's all on me to get these guys back in the gym, to get the confidence back up. And the guys have been working. I mean, we continue to play hard. You look at our defensive steals, you look at our offensive rebounds and stuff like that. We're up in the country and in the conference, but it's just putting the ball in the basket. That's what you have to do.
Pioneers have dropped 2 straight after winning 5 in a row, and now get a couple of South Carolina teams that we'll face off against in the coming week. We'll talk about that when we continue with more of the Pioneer Basketball Show with Pioneer coach J.T. Burton after this.
So much of life these days is rushing around from one place to another. Sometimes you just want to enjoy the journey on the way to the destination. And part of what makes it a little more enjoyable is an appreciation for the folks who help you get there. At Ingalls, we know that the people who send you on your way are the same ones who keep you coming back.
I think you should take it for a spin. Are you serious?
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
We welcome you back into the Pioneer Basketball Show with Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. The Pioneers, despite the 2 losses, find themselves still 6th in the South Atlantic Conference and in prime position as we head to the final month, the Valentine month, the love month, I guess you say, and we've got to find some love. We got to find some guys that want to put the ball through the hoop. As 2 opponents, very tough, Anderson and Newberry come in, and we've seen what we do with Newberry and Dave Davis and what he does, and build a 13-point lead. There's not many times in a year you're going to fall down 13, force overtime, and win by nearly as many as you trailed by in the regulation. You're just not going to have that. And of course, Anderson one of the best shooters in the league, one of the best talents in this league, second leading scorer in this league. So your work is definitely cut out for you in the coming week.
Yes, we do. We most definitely got to be prepared. We got to get in the gym, and coaching staff's got to get together, get the guys together, show them the film. Anderson's going to be a tough out. I mean, we're down there. It was a good game. They beat us, I think, 4 or 5. And it's going to be different when they come in because now they've seen the zone. Everybody knows. You know, they get to watch some tape. So, you know, we just got to make shots. If we can make shots, we'll be okay.
And Newberry is going to be a challenge just because the amount of pressure. Now, when they were here, they didn't have that 5 in, 5 out type of mentality. Of course, they were undermanned. They didn't have enough, I don't think, in order to do that. They didn't really go home, had some injuries. And it's always a tough place to play. Assuming you've not been to Eliezer Arena, welcome to Eliezer Arena on Saturday. It'll be a different place, and it's an intimate setting where the fans are right there on top of you. So it's different, and I know this will be a big challenge for you and the coaching staff because you haven't seen it and the way that the guys can get. And in that small arena, I think that is what really gets this press going for Coach Davis. But you've seen it, so are you better prepared for it then?
Yes, we are. I mean, and we was, I don't know if it was say unfortunate or fortunate, but they didn't play it when we played them at home. But we've watched enough tape and seen, you know, my assistants have, you know, talked about it, and we was preparing for it the last time. But tape does it no justice, and they're at home. But the good thing about this team, we do play pretty well on the road because, I mean, we've traveled so many miles on the road. So we just got to be prepared. Got to limit our turnovers. That's been one of our biggest problems as well. If we got to limit our turnovers, and we got to make baskets.
Make those baskets. Pioneers could be very successful. Obviously, the Pioneers at home and then on the road to Newberry. Join us on the Pioneer Sports Network. You can tune into that one by visiting jewel955.com or through TusculumPioneers.com. Just hit the composite page and you'll find the live stats or listen live. You can also watch the game through the same resources through TusculumPioneers.com, and they'll give you the viewing, and we'll give you all of the nice commentary. Sometimes it's not always good to listen to the home guy because he gets as frustrated as the head coach sometimes. For the head coach, Pioneer coach JT Burton, and all the guys behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network, Nick Forsberg, I'm Brian Staten. And until next week, go Pioneers.